Hello and blessings, beautiful, magical library lovers. How are you today? I sincerely hope that you're doing well and enjoying the book that we are reading at this moment in time, which is called Besom, Stang and Sword, written by Chris Orapello and his partner Tara Love Maguire. We are up to chapter 3, 4 and 5, and I have just previously reread or skimmed through chapter 3 once more to get it fresh in my mind. This chapter really cemented the fact that this particular book is more a form of a westernized traditional witchcraft practice, a trademark traditional witchcraft practice created by Robert Cochrane. In it, there is aspects of ceremonial magic, as we have previously discussed, which are very, very evident, particularly in chapter 3, if you weren't made aware of it in the earlier chapters 1 and 2, which was evident as well. And then throughout the middle of chapter 3, we get a little switch into more folk magical practices of the African diaspora persuasion. So there is hoodoo references in the latter chapters of chapter 3. And then at the end of each chapter, there is of course a reference list, and you will see that there is, hoodoo African American practices referenced in that particular book reference list. So it was a bit of a convoluted chapter in my humble opinion. It talked about the mechanics of magic. It talked about the states, the alpha states. Then it delved into sort of more witchcraft practical aspects, and it was a little bit ceremonial, then it was a little bit hoodoo, and it was a bit high and it was a bit low magic in that way. Not that I really enjoy using the term high and low magic, as it can be quite derogatory. It's just, a throwback of a habit from, when you used it more regularly and it wasn't considered derogative. So I had a lot to say about chapter 3, so I decided to put it into a bit of a written component to this video, and so I hope you enjoy that. But I wanted to delve into chapter 4, which was all about divination. And I found this particular chapter to be rather underwhelming, because the concept of divination is something that is often talked about. So often there is so many books that reference divination, and I went through and saw what was in there, and much of what was in there was pretty much the same as what you will find in other books, with the exception of the egg divination, which is again more African diaspora in nature. So the term of egg reading, or the concept, not the term, but the concept of egg reading is something that you will see a lot in cleansing rituals in particular. So in certain branches of African diaspora traditions, such as hoodoo, Umbanda, Candomblé, Kimbanda, Santeria, you will oftentimes use an egg to purify your body. So you'll roll the egg over yourself, then you will crack the egg or pierce the egg, allow it to then float in the water, and then read the egg as it is floating, forming its shapes. So it's a really interesting practice, and when you see it done, it can be quite, provocative in that way. Like you just can't help but look. And you really go into a childlike mind when that particular type of experience is happening, because it reminds you of cloud gazing, because it's white and you can see it, and it sort of hits that place within you. And we all, I believe, as children have looked up at the sky and seen a shape. It's something that is quite natural, it's unavoidable. Kids love to do it, their imaginations run wild. I see it in my kids, I did it as a child. I know many other people who do it now to this day as adults. I still look up at the sky as an adult, and it kind of connects you to that same type of practice. So it's a really interesting practice, and that one did actually sit outside of the standard divination methods that you would see ordinarily in books. But for the most part, it was talking about, clairvoyance, it was talking about seership, it was talking about scrying, and so on and so forth. None of which is new to me, and so I skimmed that. And I'm like, oh, what's good here, what's good here? And I sort of read it all, and I'm like, meh. And then we got to the egg reading, and they do it a little differently in that one. Pierce the top, pierce the bottom, whisper to the lips, blow it out, all that kind of stuff. It's done a little bit differently, but felt a bit the same. End results, the yolk in the jar or in the glass of water, and you're reading it. So that was really interesting. So for me, chapter 4 was a little bit lackluster. I didn't really enjoy it very much. It was a bit of same old kind of stuff. But we edge into chapter 5, which is titled Herbalism. And I'm really interested to read this herbalism component because they do make special emphasis on using, how can I say that better? They do make particular reference in their earlier chapters towards utilizing natural or sort of localized botanica, so plants and herbs and woods, etc., that grow within your biosphere, so around you. And I really do like that emphasis on using regional ingredients. So I'm really interested to see what is in this herbalism component, because I have a special interest in herbalism. I really do like using botanicals in my personal practice. I use it in the form of oils, I use it in incense, I use it in, you know, the creation of satchels and poppets and charm bags and all other things. Powders, and you know how you do. So I really am curious about that one, and I want to take a little bit more time to go through that one. But for the most part, chapter 3 was really interesting. It was a bit high, a bit low, a bit ceremonial, a bit folk, very interesting. And chapter 4 was, just not my cup of tea, really. Just not really my cup of tea. So I'd like to know your opinions on chapter 3 and chapter 4. If you've read chapter 5, by all means, let me know what you thought about chapter 5. And I'm going to breeze through the rest of the book because we are getting towards the end of August, and I'd like to do a book club live on this one. So if you guys are up for a book club live, then do let me know, because I would really like to get together with you and sort of hash out some of the thoughts that I have had pertaining to this book. Especially the traditional witchcraft aspect, which I believe this traditional witchcraft aspect, did I say that correctly? I believe this traditional witchcraft book is anything but traditional witchcraft, and as such I'd like to talk more about that and discuss whether or not the title of the book is it clickbaity? Is it a clickbait type of title? Let's talk a bit more about that when we get together live, and you can tell me your thoughts and I'll tell you mine, and we can have a really great conversation about that. In the meantime, enjoy the read. Let me know what you think, and I'm wishing you guys so much love, luck, peace, and joy. Happy reading, and let's start looking out for our next title, because we are, we're moving through this month quite quickly. We're on month number 2 for this book, so let's see how we go. Much love, many blessings. Bye.